Hello and welcome to the very first episode of But Have You Heard About Conspiracy Theory Edition? Dun, 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 dun. Today I'm joined by my fabulous better half and husband, Matt.
Hello.
Yay! So just in case anybody really needs to know, like a conspiracy theory definition, it's a belief that some covert but influential organization responsible for a circumstance or event. And in my opinion, when it comes to conspiracy theories, you just don't want to believe the simple, mundane answer.
Right.
Sometimes that's presented to you.
You have to believe that there's something bigger and crazier out there to get you. Yeah. That's like believing that there's aliens or ghosts or whatever.
Or that we didn't land on the moon and that the moon landing's fake because it's too hard of a concept to understand.
But
or flat earthers.
We'll believe in other outlandish things.
Yeah.
It's true.
Exactly. Like this shit.
Right.
So Matt is not as a conspiracy theory tinfoil hat person as I am, but he has decided that he will grace my ambitions of talking about conspiracy theories with the masses and probably bringing a little bit more realness to the table than I probably would. So the first conspiracy theory that I want to talk about is really the multiple conspiracy theories about the Denver International Airport. Have you ever heard of any of these of conspiracy theories with that airport?
No. It doesn't even sound like anything that should exist. Like, how can you have a conspiracy theory about an airport?
Exactly. Denver Airport, it opened in 1995, currently is the 5th busiest airport in the U.S. and the 20th busiest airport in the world.
Right.
It's 53 square miles, and it actually would fit all of the busier airports in its landmass. Like
Atlanta?
LA is smaller, but LAX is a busier airport. So basically, the very first conspiracy theory that I want to talk about is that the Freemasons actually control the airport. They were involved with the planning of the airport and how everything went. And the airport's actually called New World Airport. There is a tribute to the airport that calls it the New World Airport, which kind of sounds like New World Order, which is, this crazy group of elites, lizard people in the background, billionaires, blah, 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 blah. That's conspiracy like wet dreams.
I'm pretty sure the New World Order is Star Wars, so.
Yeah, well, that's what people want you to think. It's not Star Wars, apparently. They took it over.
So, I know who the Masons are, but just to our viewers, so we know who the hell you're talking about.
So the Freemasons are a legitimate, fraternal, and historically cloistered organization with civic ties throughout the country, throughout the world as well. And basically, yes, they did help with building. They have such great just civic responsibilities in general, that they did help with building Denver's new airport in 1995. So,
right.
Pretty basic.
Everyone knows that, obviously.
Obviously, everybody knows.
Now you know.
Now we all know. So there's a plaque that's dedicated at the airport that has the picture of the Freemason symbol on it. It has quote unquote strange markings, and it says to the New World Airport Commission, which sounds like New World Order to some, conspiracy theorists.
What is this, like the Illuminati or something?
Yes.
Okay.
They really think the Illuminati is over here building shit at a fucking airport. In Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
So I would think that we've, always had these anti-Masonic conspiracies that date back forever. Like the Illuminati is over here controlling things. And in all honesty, you can either believe that the Illuminati controls stuff or you can believe that the Illuminati doesn't exist. Basically, you have one or the other.
Because believing that the Illuminati exists and doesn't do anything just seems like the wrong thing.
Well, our cat agrees and disagrees probably at the same time. But basically, the real facts is that Freemasons had nothing to do with the actual planning of the airport. And the actual name of the airport is called the New World Airport. And it was actually named by Charles Ansbacher, who is an art advocate. So it wasn't like some Freemasons named it, and they had nothing to do with the actual planning of the airport itself or anything to do with plans going forward since 95 either. And what people like to call the strange markings on this plaque is actually Navajo language characters and references to other airport artists.
That just shows how stupid people are.
There's also a conspiracy theory about the art airport. So they have...
Plus, why Denver? That seems like a really terrible place to invest your time if I was a secret organization. Why would I want to do that?
Well, so the airport itself is 25 miles away from downtown Denver.
Okay.
You're very far away, so you're out of the area. And there's more conspiracy theories later on that kind of explain why Denver might have been picked, or why this airport
Is it
so
like
special.
on a ley line or something like that?
No. But so there's all this like different art throughout the airport, like even outside the airport, like leading up to the airport. You've been to the Denver airport, right?
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, that's where suitcases go to die. And it makes perfect sense because it's massive.
Is it a black hole underneath it?
Basically.
Like a time warp?
I mean, it's 53 square miles.
It's a huge airport. I'm
Yeah.
saying it's not.
And that's why, like, I am always for certain that's where my luggage gets lost anytime I go visit my family in Washington. So there's this artwork that people think is the artwork of like the apocalypse, that it basically is just like predicting it. Mm-hmm. There's a 40-piece public art collection, and most notably is a 28-foot wide mural by artist Leo Tanguma, and it's like the Notre Denver gargoyle sculptures as well. And there's
you put gargoyles in your airport, of course it's going to be a bunch of crazies thinking that
right, but the gargoyles
Batman lives underneath it.
But like gargoyles are like a sign of like warding off evil, and they're poking their heads out of suitcases. So what conspiracy theory is that? They just did it to be like modern, but at the same time holding, you know, ideas of like past architecture and art.
It's like the hotel in Ghostbusters. You know, they built this insane thing, and the people are like, "Well, it's got to be something supernatural or whatever." It's like, you guys are just nuts.
Yeah. And then there's a Mustang sculpture that's outside the airport, mm-hmm. and it's this huge blue thing, and it's nicknamed Blucifer because it looks apparently sinister to some people. I mean, it's a 32-foot, 9,000-pound Mustang sculpture, which features glowing red eyes.
Do they follow you when you move?
No, because you're driving past it pretty fast, most likely.
Like a Scooby-Doo painting? And
it also fell and killed its creator. So, you know,
Ooh.
It's compared to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse because of that, which is a little, yeah. So
one of the 5th horseman accidents. Oops.
Yeah, basically. Like the Mustang sculpture itself with the neon red eyes, the neon lights are actually an homage to the artist's father who worked with neon lights. Mm. However, the artist died with his creation. So it's not like we get to ask him why he did that. He could have literally picked any other color, but if the sculpture is blue, red looks great with blue, and it's a Mustang, which there's a football team in Denver called the Broncos, and they're orange and blue. So I don't think they would necessarily want to like do the orange eyes, because then it's like stealing colors from the Broncos. I don't know. That's just me.
This was in 95 this thing was made?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
it's not that old.
No, that's the thing. It's like this airport just had like their 25-year anniversary back in February. So before the corona, fun stuff. So there's also the mural by Tanguma, which when it's taken out of context and you're not looking at it through the right eyes, it looks very grim. But actually, if you read it from right to left, as opposed to left to right, like we normally do, it actually shows a different picture versus the one that's like, look, we have this. If you go left to right, it looks like this whole peaceful world going into like an apocalyptic pollution. But if you go right to left, where it talks about the children are the hope of the world, it actually shows the pollution being cleaned up. And that's what he wanted you to see.
Well, I mean, where did this artist hail from? Because a lot of countries do actually do artwork or writing from right to left and not left to right. Just because you're, closed-minded American doesn't mean that there's other things out in the world.
Yeah, I honestly don't know where he's from. But I mean, his whole thing, it's called like Children of the World Dream of Peace is what the title is.
So your title...
Because you're dreaming of peace, you're going through like this whole war, destruction, pollution to make the world better, but it's just interpreted weird. Because it's talking about environmental stewardship following times of war and pollution.
Did this guy also get crushed by his painting?
No, he did not.
Before you could explain that you have to view it from right to left?
No. Another theory that is ridiculous is that hidden beneath the airport's underground baggage transport tunnels, which have to be huge because it's 53 square miles, is a secret bunker or a series of bunkers, and is designed to house billionaires and global political elite in the event of an apocalypse. And also lizard people, and there's apparently aliens.
It's like, what's that show?
There's so many.
No, American Horror Story Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like that one where it's like, you gotta buy your ticket in, except that the place is the Denver airport.
Yeah, you had to go to the fucking airport. Like literally one of the worst places to go. At least they have some decent coffee. So yeah, but the fact that they really think, wouldn't they be there now during everything going on instead of like, I don't know, on their Instagram, on their houseboat being like, I'm all alone on my houseboat being so sad, I'm a billionaire.
I don't know, like some people probably did go underground, like literally.
Yeah. But there is an intricate underground tunnel because of all the luggage.
Sure. I mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's like the phantom of the airport down there. And he's got a...
Maybe. Shit. Like, and he's over... I mean, there probably could be. This is probably what people are thinking, is that there is a phantom of the airport, but it's a lizard person.
Right.
So the contractors themselves, they went over budget.
That's never good.
But that's the thing, is that I almost feel with any project, any like public works project, it's going to go over budget when it's massive.
Right.
I mean, we can just take like our own street system here with parkways. They all always go over budget.
Yeah, and then they do nothing for a year and a half.
Or they go bankrupt. Well, at least this didn't go bankrupt, but it did open 16 months behind schedule. Mm. And people claim that they saw evidence of bunker entrances and unexplained tunnels. And apparently a multi-million-dollar automated baggage system failed to work when it started, which makes kind of sense.
Oh, man. It was Mole Man.
The mole people. And there's apparently an alien drawing that has appeared on walls.
Of course.
I mean...
You can't have a conspiracy theory without aliens.
Exactly. And there's apparently blurry footage of lizard people.
Was there like a piece of toast with Jesus' face on it too?
Probably.
Somewhere?
They probably got it at the McDonald's.
The Starbucks had a ham sandwich with Jesus' face on it, and they thought, oh shit.
Basically. So there's like...
haunted for sure.
So just in the tunnel system itself, there's like 1,000 people that work down there.
In the tunnels?
In the tunnels.
Okay.
Like legitimately working.
Can you imagine working in a tunnel?
Like you don't see
your
light.
Whole life. Yeah, basically.
You don't leave. And it's Denver. So like in the
modern
winter.
Day coal miner here.
Yeah. So like in Denver, when you like leave in the winter, which is like all the damn time, it feels like, you basically leave to like a blizzard sometimes. So, I mean, there's been tours though of like the tunnels by different journalists, like the Denver Post went, they took photos, they did a tour, they showed people what was going on down there. Because people obviously are like, yo, if I'm going to apply for a job down here, I kind of want to know what it looks like. Because, it's a tunnel. And again, coal miners didn't really get to be like, I'm going to interview to be a coal miner and see what it looks like down here in the tunnel.
It's a dirt hole.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's really much better than that, to be honest. A concrete tomb that you're walking through.
Yeah. But there's been...
Motionless, soundless, just terrifying.
Yeah. But I mean, there's 1,000 people. Well, like 999 other people down there with you. So there's probably noise. And also you have like automated systems. You're underneath those railways that go back and forth between the concourses. So you have with luggage too, mind you. And I feel that the airport in general was just made so big so it could expand without running into like instances that other airports that didn't give themselves enough room do.
Right.
I mean, like Houston has 2 airports. Chicago has 2 airports. LA has 1 million airports throughout its vast basically empire. And if you think about it, like in Northern California, they have multiple airports for like so there's San Francisco and Oakland, and they're right next to each other. And you just be like, well, which flight's cheaper? And do I need to be somewhere important? Doesn't matter if I fly into Oakland or not.
Right.
Anyways, so let's say that you're bored at your job and you're like in a fancy tunnel, and especially if like those train things are off, wouldn't you want to draw like a graffiti smiley face? Like, especially like when you're like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah, you're just a kid with a job.
Yeah.
And,
so
you got nothing better to do.
Yeah. So what's been explained by people from the airport is like, look, people wanted to put their own special touches on the airport, so they drew things like aliens. And basically all it did was perpetuate this whole conspiracy theory about aliens.
They got kids running around and putting their handprint in the concrete, and people are like, ancient people lived under here. It was built in 95. Stupid. Like, this is the kind of theories that you expect from like, Stonehenge type conspiracy theories, where it's like, oh, like thousands of years ago, this thing was made. And it's like, we don't know anything about it because, people were terrible at recording history. So we just kind of have to guess. And the wildest guess you can think of is fucking lizard people.
Yeah.
But this is like 2 decades ago, and people are like, it's lizard people.
Well, so not to like help it make it any better or worse, literally workers down in the tunnels, when they know that media is coming to do a tour of any sort, will literally put on lizard masks as pranks.
Just because of this stupid thing that's been going on. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Hilarious.
It's hilarious to me. Like, this is the type of like shenanigans I want to strive for in my life. All right, I think this might be the last conspiracy theory I have for you.
And this is all just one freaking place. Like,
yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah, it's just the ideas that people have about the Denver airport as opposed to the black hole of luggage. But knowing that it's the largest airport in the US, it explains why my suitcase has gone missing multiple times and gone on the wrong airline. Well, not the wrong airline, but it's gone on the wrong airplane. You know, I'm just really upset that I didn't get I had to like buy clothes at a Target and they only gave me like $50 and I had to buy jeans.
This is about conspiracy theories, not about your lost luggage. Unless the lost luggage has something to do with like a lizard stealing it, then I don't want to hear about it.
Now I think that a lizard might have taken it.
I mean, did you get it back?
Yeah, and there might have been lizards,
didn't take it.
But maybe they like touched it. Maybe the lizard people touched it. You don't know.
Whatever.
Okay, so my last conspiracy theory for you is about Nazis.
How would the Nazis have anything to do with something? Well, I guess there's, neo-Nazis and shit now, so continue.
Yes. So the location of the airport, which is 25 miles away.
Oh, is that a Nazi graveyard?
It could be. You gotta let me finish my theories first. Okay, so the airport is located 25 miles away from downtown Denver. There are swastika-shaped runway configurations and various barely concealed symbols of Nazism are fashioned to hint at any number of sinister plots, which is what theorists online say.
So the architect was a Nazi. Who cares?
No. Okay, hold on. Also, there's apparently a tunnel that connects the airport to NORAD, which is nearly 100 miles to the south in Colorado Springs. So NORAD is where we keep like a lot of missiles and stuff.
Right.
But somehow we have a 100-mile tunnel, which would literally... Smallman, and also it would literally rival the engineering feat of like what happened with the channel between Paris and London. That to me is...
What? The channel?
Yeah.
What the fuck is a channel?
So between Paris and London,
right.
It's an underground train.
Sure.
Under the water.
So they called it a channel.
Yeah.
Is that like a mix of two things, a channel and a tunnel?
Yeah, because you're going across a channel and a tunnel.
Okay, that's corny, but okay.
Yeah, well, no one ever said Europeans weren't corny.
Okay.
That's how we got white people.
Anyway, there's this giant tunnel that leads to the center of the earth and somehow pops up in Nuke Land.
Yep.
And is that true, or is this just people spouting nonsense?
These are people just being ridiculous, okay?
Yeah.
They just think it's because it's so far away, because of X, Y, and Z, blah, blah.
They just think that it's connecting to this place.
Yes.
Is there even this tunnel, any proof that this tunnel even exists?
No. But people just assume
say whatever
things.
They want. It's so dumb.
They do. So that's what makes it just so much more ridiculous. So
they sealed it up.
They did it once these things like this podcast came out, they sealed the tunnel up. The runway, the whole conspiracy theory about the runway basically being the Nazi symbol is also just really taken out of context. So if you actually look at the aerial footage,
sure.
It looks like I don't know, like somebody was trying to draw it when they're on a sinking ship or something, and you're like, their hand is not straight. It looks nothing like that. They're grasping at straws.
Yeah, they're taking the imagery of it and they're manipulating it to their vision.
Yeah.
That's like the classic, like people will just find a random picture and draw a triangle on it and say Illuminati confirmed, that type of crap.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
And literally, yeah. It's one of these things where it makes no sense. And literally it looks like a fan shape, if anything. And it's just basically optimal for weather design. That's it. And then the whole 90 plus mile long tunnel that would need to, happen to be from the airport to NORAD would just be so cost prohibitive. There's no way that they're over budget built a tunnel that damn long.
That's why they were over budget. They dug this tunnel to Cartoon Land or whatever.
Well, so the longest underground
Toontown, that's what it was.
The longest underground rail tunnel currently active, and it was just newly opened, is over in the Swiss Alps, and it's only 35.4 miles. So how are we going to build a 90 plus?
Got me.
Yeah. I think, honestly, people are grasping at straws. And anytime somebody sees the Freemasons, their literal mind just goes to Illuminati confirmed, even though the Freemasons have just, they've been an organization around. It's fraternal. It's just like being a part of a fraternity without going to college. And it's usually like a familial thing. So your family's a part of it and you get invited because of family. Everything
that has been presented in this, and it's only been 20 years, is all it's just someone spouting nonsense, basically. It's almost like someone purposefully just trolled people, because that's the world that we live in for 20 years now. It's just people trolling people.
Yeah.
So one guy trolled somebody and someone lost their fucking mind and then went on fucking Facebook and said, oh, the mole people are real. I have proof from this guy that said it. You don't know him, but he said it and it's true. He works there. And then it's just, one guy was making a joke and then it got out of control, and now everyone thinks the world is flat type crap. It's like,
right. Well, I also think like with the invention of the internet, thanks Al Gore, that you're able to like see these kind of like these conspiracy theories with modern day things be a lot more like prominent. Prominent. So seen a lot more prominent. And with the fact that it's opened in 95,
right.
I mean, you already have more readily available technology by that point. You already have, the ability to make a website. So all it takes is one person to be like, this seems a little fishy. And there are conspiracy theorists that will spend hours talking about this airport.
There's less nonsense about more historic things and more mysterious things than a fucking airport. Like, even if you want to get like all Nicolas Cage on us with like the not the discovery, but the establishment of the American nation, then you can go crazy with that. Go for it. I'm fine with that. That's fun. At least it's funny. But this is like 20 years ago. This isn't fun. Like maybe wait another 100 years and then make conspiracy theory about the Denver airport.
Exactly.
Then maybe people will buy it. But yeah, you're grasping at straws now, buddy.
Yeah. So in my conclusion, there's nothing sinister or conspiracy theory-ish related to the Denver airport.
Except the mole men.
Mole men, even though it's not even mentioned. But yeah, mole men definitely building tunnels and shit. I don't think billionaires would go under Denver, Colorado. Not in 95. Like they wouldn't have made that in 95. They might now if it was being built, just because it's like, oh, look, marijuana is like legal here. But then again, they're billionaires. They just pay to not get arrested. So whatever. Yay. Again, I'm Courtney. Thanks for listening to my first ever episode of But Have You Heard About Conspiracy Theories? Da-na-na-na. And hopefully you will join Matt and I for our next one. All right. Have a good one, peoples.